Starting a YouTube channel is a very scary thing. I know, this is my third one. The first two were okay. I've said this in the past in a couple of videos. They were learning experiences, and I'm not considering them failures. They are not. They are a foundation of where I am today. And yes, this channel is not huge, but it's successful in my own mind because compared to what I had no one watching my videos, and now actually people are engaging in these videos, which if I didn't have those experiences before, I might not have gotten here today. Welcome back to the Rebel Tech channel. I'm Justin, and in this video we're going to be talking about a couple of YouTube starter kits, one being very bare bones and just what you need, and the other one's going to be some type of investment that you might want to consider, especially if this isn't your first time starting a YouTube channel and you want to be a little bit more serious, kind of like what I did. But before we get started, if you have any questions, comments, or anything whatsoever, please leave it down in the comments section down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have about gear, especially in this video, the gear that I talk about. I'm not going to talk about everything, so if you have anything in particular that you want to talk about, I'll be happy to have that conversation down in the comments. And if you want to talk to me more directly and have a more fluent conversation, I stream every Saturday now. Sometime in the afternoon, just give me a follow on Twitch, twitch.tv/ghettohappy, and you'll know exactly when I go live. And if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or anything whatsoever, please leave a like and consider subscribing. The first step to starting a YouTube channel is choosing an idea, and that comes from a passionate topic that you are into. Like for me, I love tech and gear, so that's why I made this channel. I made a gaming channel because I love video games. I made a Fast Forward Fellas time-lapse photography channel because I like photography. Find something that you really love to do, and even if no one watches it, and even if the videos are not that great, at least you enjoyed it and you gained something from it. Because building that foundation is key, and enjoying it will make that process a little less daunting. Now, once you have that idea, try to keep it a little bit, that you're playing that game of not too closed in and not too vague. You want to be flexible so that you could go in different avenues and not go off topic too much, but you also don't want to put yourself in a corner like kind of what I did with my gaming channel. It was just not flexible enough, and I had to make stuff for that channel. Otherwise, it makes no sense. If I put gaming stuff on my photography channel and vice versa, it wouldn't make any sense. So, got to play that game. Now that you have your idea, you need to figure out a name for your channel. This is a little more easier once you have the idea because it will be layered in with the idea, but you don't want to be too crazy, like right on, like if you're a gaming channel, you don't want to be like, like for me, Justin Games. You don't want to have that. That's a little silly. You want something catchy. You want something cool. Something that people will go to and say, hey, have you checked out the Rebel Tech channel or whatever it is? Or something maybe when I made the Ghetto Happy channel, and my Ghetto Happy name on Twitch is also something that I've kept. That is a bit of history for me, and I've said it plenty of times. There's history to that name, and it's very close and near and dear to my heart. Goes back to my gaming days with my friends and family and cousins and things like that. But you need to have something that's catchy and also on topic and on the rails. You don't want to go off the rails with it. The next channel I had was Fast Forward Fellas. Easy enough. Fast forward photography, time-lapse photography, play off the slow-mo, guys. Very simple. And the Rebel Tech channel is technology, gear, all that stuff. So it took me a while to figure out these names, and I went through a ton, but eventually the ideas came to me, and the name, you'll know it. You'll know when that name is actually right, and you're gonna feel it. It's gonna feel right. Alrighty, you have your name, you have your idea. Now you need to figure out, how am I going to produce this content? The hard thing is for new creators, I'm still a new creator myself, is trying to figure out what you can get that you can handle. There's a lot of times on this channel where I say, get the gear that's right for you, in the sense that it's right for your content. Also, it's right for your skill set. You don't want to get anything that can overwhelm you. You don't want to get a fancy camera that you have no idea how to use. You also don't want to get something cheap and it makes it kind of crappy. So you got to play that game. It's all game right now, finding out where you're going to land, and you could always upgrade later. But there are certain things that you need to make it easier for yourself to make content and also make it enjoyable. The ideas, the name, and everything like that is nice, but the gear is going to make it a little bit easier to hone those skills and make it easier to create that content. The good news is most of us already have what they need to do it, and that is called your phone. You see it all the time. TikTok, Twitter, all these apps that we have, people are using their phone to create content. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be professional. What is professional nowadays? Professional technically is you do a job to get paid, but people misinterpret that as, oh, it doesn't look professional. Well, if you do a person can do an excellent job. I could put out this video and it looks professional in certain avenues, and I don't get paid for it. But still, you got to play that game. It doesn't have to be professional. It just has to be good enough that you could put it out there and be proud of it. So like I said, your phone is key. And I mention this channel a lot. Colonel Sean, he made a video about making content with your phone and simple everyday things that you could use. And he used two phones, one for audio and one for video. And it's very good. I'm going to link that down below. And he really goes into depth with how you can set things up, and very cheap, and pretty much you can use a phone. You could have two phones. If you have your old phone, you can record audio with that one and then use the nicer one, the newer one, for your video. But go check out that video. It's very good. So the next step is, if you're really getting more serious about making content, but you don't want to blow a lot of money on your content, which is understandably so, you want to have just enough so you can get your feet wet and just get some experience before you go ahead. And maybe if you start making content and you don't want to do it anymore, you didn't waste the money. Or if you're really serious about it, or if you're doing your second or third channel like I am and you've accumulated some gear, then maybe you invest a little bit more. And that all being said, the first thing, the most important thing, and I know I'm a little bit biased on this one, but the first thing you invest in is your audio, because your audio is key. There's a lot of times where people will stick around with your content because your audio is good and you're lacking a little bit on the video, but the audio's good and it's not sounding like crackly or muddy or something like that, they will stick around a lot longer than if you were to have really bad audio and excellent video. So to start off on the lower end, we have USB mics. USB mics are very simple microphones that can be plugged in, and it's plug and play. That's it. You just plug it in and you go. There are tons of options. One new one that came out that's $50 is the Razer Siren. I don't have one. I might pick one up and do a review on it, but if you're interested, the Alpha Gaming channel, Harris Heller, if you're interested in gear and stuff like this, he's a big inspiration for this channel. And also Stream Beats, the music that you're hearing in the background right now, is his creation. So go check that out. It's all royalty free music, and you can download it on his Discord, and it's very cool. You can put it towards your content. Another free thing and adding to your production value. Just so you know, this is not sponsored by it, but if he ever notices it, that would be pretty cool. So yeah, Razer Siren Mini is a $50 USB mic. It's super cardioid, so it's going to be honed in, a little bit of pickup on the back, but I'm curious to see. This is being recorded before Harris puts out that video about USB mics that came out this year. So I'll leave a link to that in the description down below, and everything that I talk about, there'll be links down below. Now that you have that mic, you need the place to record it. And the good thing is, with a USB mic, like I said, it's plug and play, so you don't need an audio interface with it. But you need something to record into, so you have to have a program. My suggestion is you go with Audacity, which is a free option. You go with OBS, you can record audio into OBS. You're gonna have to record the video into it, but once you put it into your software of editing, which we'll get into editing software a little later, there are plenty of options and a couple of free ones as well. The idea with OBS is it's free. A lot of these options that I'm going to show you are free, and it's a good starter kit and trying to get your feet wet without breaking the bank. Now, for everyone who is interested in upgrading a little bit further, nothing too crazy, but a little bit further, you are going to have to go to an XLR mic, which has to go into a audio interface. And the best starter kit option I could give you is the Rode Pod mic or the AT2020 to a Focusrite Solo, Scarlett Solo, I think that's what it's called. I used to have one. I sold it years back because I upgraded to a mixer, and now I have the Zoom F6, and I'm selling my Yamaha because I don't really use it as much, and I'm trying to save some money and put money towards some other gear that I want. So yeah, Rode Pod mic or AT2020 into a Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Great options. $100 microphone. Each of them are $100. And then the Focusrite is $100 as well. That's a $200 investment for your audio, which is a steal. They're excellent microphones, and they give you some great quality, and you're not going to be having any issues with them. And another thing that's going to be happening through this video, everything that I say can go through OBS as recording. You could record all this stuff into OBS. You could even go record your video and your audio into OBS, and it's synced up, everything's good to go, and you just need to cut it up, chop it up into whatever you need it as. You don't have to sync or anything like that. You could do them separately, but it's there for the taking. You can go ahead and do it. Next up, we have a camera, and the camera doesn't necessarily have to be too fancy. There are plenty of webcams out there. Just like a USB mic, a webcam is a USB interfaced camera. And Logitech makes a lot of nice ones. The C920X or the C920, depending on which one you could find. I don't know if they make the C920 anymore. I haven't seen it. I have one, and it's a good little camera. It's nothing too fancy, but it gets the job done. And with some nice lighting, you can make it look pretty professional. And I'll throw in some clips of me using it. You can get the point across, and I've used it in my stream a couple of times. Like when I'm doing some dot art, I get the camera down, facing down at the art, and then I get the webcam facing me as a face cam. I'm still figuring out some quirky things. It's something, the flexibility with using it, like getting your exposure right, getting your lighting right, is very difficult. It takes some practice, and just like your USB mic, it takes some practice to get used to. Once you start using some XLR mics, you have more control over every little thing. And same thing with a webcam to a DSLR or a more professional camera. It's a lot more user control that you'll have. So to recap those cheaper options, we have your phone, which you record audio and video, and you could chop it up with some apps on your phone. You could do that, or if you want to, you could transfer it to your computer and do it on some softwares that I'll mention at the end. The next step is, if you were to go to a webcam and USB mic dual system into OBS, that's perfect too. Less control, but you'll get the content out there and you'll be able to do it. There's some apps and some plugins within OBS that you can mess around with. So it's not too crazy, but there's less control than if you were to go a little bit higher. And then the next thing is a half step up. You go with the C920X webcam, and then you get a more professional microphone. Well, not professional, but more user control friendly microphone as a AT2020 or Rode Pod mic, being XLR mics into your audio interface, the Scarlett Solo. And that's a bit of an investment. But at that point, it's $200 plus the 70, under $300 to get everything. And at that point, your softwares can be free. So it's under $200 of everything that you're gonna need to start making videos. If you're at this point where you're looking to get a little bit more than what I've mentioned before, you're really serious about making content and making this almost a career if you wanted to try it, and starting to be where I am right now in making content. So to start off, there are plenty of things that you can upgrade, and there are plenty of things that might not make a difference, like your audio. You're getting excellent quality out of the AT2020 and the Rode Pod mic into the Scarlett Solo. Maybe you want to get a recorder like an H5 or like an H4 and do things separately and have everything recorded if you're not a fan of doing it into OBS. I think OBS is good enough that you could get the quality that you need. And I won't go into the recorders. I'm just using the microphone and the camera as examples. So like I said, 2020 and the Rode Pod mic are excellent options, and they'll last you a long time. After that, if you watch my other videos, I'll leave links to those microphone reviews that I've done. There's different tiers of microphones, and you're not going to notice it that much of a difference, especially with YouTube. A lot of times the compression is really screwed up, especially with the audio. It doesn't make your nicer microphones sound that much better. You'll notice some differences, but it's not worth the extra price. Moving along, we have the next camera that you're going to get. And you'll have to make a decision if you want to go to a DSLR or mirrorless camera. The Logitech Brio is a good option, but it is still a webcam, so you don't have as much control. It is a nice one. It does get 4K, I think, at 30, but it does full 1080s, which is probably what most of you should do. You should have 1080 going out. I don't have a 4K camera. You don't need it. So in my mind, if you're considering the Brio and your budget is at $200 for your camera, you can go ahead with that. But in my mind, I would save some money and save some time with your C920 or C920X and save up some money, or maybe even wait till your birthday or a holiday and get it as a gift, your camera. That's what I did. I actually had a Rebel T5 and I had that for a couple years, and now I have a 77D, which is an excellent camera. Even 3 years later, it's a great camera. That's a good segue. The 77D. If you're looking for a camera that is just at that level of what you need, the 77D is there with the expansive EF mount lenses that you can get. A lot of times the lens is a lot more important. I think like 75% of your camera choice is your lens. So you could have a decent body and a really good lens and it's gonna look great. But if you have a really good body and a bad lens, it could make it look even worse. And without any further ado, the specs that you're looking for are 1080 and 60 FPS. So if you could get a camera that has 1080 and 60 frames per second as your options, the 60 FPS is plenty good enough to get your B-roll. A lot of times when you're shooting 120, you notice the difference. It looks great, but you don't necessarily need it. It might not be worth that extra cash when you're starting out making videos. So 1080 and 60 FPS. Two cameras that fit that criteria are the 77D and the Sony a6000, which is a mirrorless option from Sony. A lot of people like the Sony options because they're compact, they're small. I've worked with Sonys and I'm not a huge fan of the interface, the menus and everything like that. It's very confusing, but they offer 1080 and 60. Another thing to consider is look on eBay and do some research into finding some used gear. I actually got this 77D for $500, and it's a $800 camera, and I got it for $500. Make sure that it's in good condition, and make sure that it's a person that has a good upstanding standing on eBay. Try not to get screwed on eBay. I've been screwed a couple of times, and it was not good trying to resolve that. So be very careful if you are to get used gear. Same thing applies with audio gear. You can get the AT2020 and the Rode Pod mic used. They're $100, so it's not that big of a deal, but if you want to try and save a little bit of cash, you can go that route as well. Now that we've got through the big stuff, the audio and the video, the cameras and the mics, we need to get things that will help make those things shine a little bit better. And quite literally, lights is the next thing. And to be honest, you don't have to spend a lot on lights. There are plenty of fancy lights that they're not even worth it. I've worked with plenty of LED panels that work just fine. If you're working with these types of cameras, you just need a halfway decent light. I've had this light for 6 years, and it's a newer regular LED. Still has the big bulbs. It's not a panel, it just has the big LED bulbs in there, and it's done me good. It's been an excellent light for me, and it has a ton of light. So that being said, Newer makes a great pair of lights, and if you get them on Amazon, they're like 30 to 40 bucks. And the last bit of gear, certainly not least, is your editing software. This is a very tough thing because learning how to edit is half the battle. Creating the content, writing out your script, writing out the outline, that's just a part of it. But editing, that's where the magic really happens. It really puts everything together, and it's something you got to learn to do. Not everybody has the luxury of hiring someone to edit. But if you learn how to edit, it will go a long way with your channel because you'll be more intimate with the process. Some options that I have, I'll tell you what I use. I used to use Sony Vegas, the cheaper model, and it was good for a while. I did my gameplay with it, and I did a lot of simple videos with it. It wasn't great. It wasn't the pro version, but it was good. And recently, I've been using Adobe Premiere. It's a great program, but so many problems I've had over the 6 months that I've used it. I'm not making any money on this right now, and it's a monthly thing. To be honest, I'd rather just spend $300-400 on a program and just own it. Then I can just work with it. Which brings me back to DaVinci Resolve. You guys can get the free version and use that. It's limited to a point, but it still gets the job done, and you don't have to worry about any watermarks on your simple edits. Some things have watermarks, like certain plugins and certain things like that, but you don't have to use that. If you just want simple edits and things like that, it's fine. If you're interested in paying for some things, some other options are the Vegas one, the Sony one, Professional Studio, something like that. It's under $100 for the program, and it's good. It's got just your basic stuff. Now, if you made it through this video, I appreciate the support and everything. I'm really hoping these suggestions help you guys get your YouTube channel started and get into content creation. It's really fun, and even if you just do this as a side job or a side just hobby, it's still a fun thing to get into. And if you enjoy this type of work and want to put some ideas out there, even if it's not that great, it's still good. It's good to put your thoughts out there and maybe do a vlog, maybe talk about your life, talk about things you do, talk about your work, whatever it may be. Just create content and make some good choices in what you put out there, because there's a lot of negative things, and whatever you're gonna make it positive. There's too much negativity in the world. Try to make these things positive, and if everyone does that, then we can make the world a little bit better. But before I sound like a Sarah McLachlan commercial, let's go run down these things and talk about what we covered. And we'll talk about the cheaper ones and the more expensive ones of your options in picking gear. So first off, we have the Razer Siren Mini, which is $50, the Logitech C920 or C920X, which is $70, and the newer lights, which are $40, which comes out to $160, under $200 to get yourself set. Obviously, you can use OBS to record it all, and you could use the free version of DaVinci Resolve. $160, under $200 to get yourself started. There are some flexibilities. You could get the Logitech Brio if you want a little bit more higher quality. I wouldn't suggest it, but it's up to you. Now, I consider that a beginner budget. Next is a more higher budget, the AT2020 or the Rode Pod mic, which are $100. The audio interface, the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, which is another $100. The Canon 77D or the A6000 Sony, which is roughly around $600 depending on if you get it used or new. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less, that kind of stuff. The newer lights, $40. You could get a cam link, which is $125 if you want to relay the signal to your OBS, to your computer, and then not have to sync. You could get an SD card, which is cheaper, and you could just sync it later, do a clap sync. Like, I do that every single time. I do a clap sync. So it's totally up to you what you want to do. You could get the cam link. Thing with the cam link as well, if your camera, which the 77D and the A6000 have clean HDMI out, if you want, you could stream. And you could go to Twitch, you could go to YouTube, you could stream, and it doubles as that. The other thing is some accessories, little things here and there like batteries, SD cards, probably top off with another $50 or so. And that is right around $1,000 for your investment. Roughly, give or take, depending on if you get things used, get things a little lower model. If you're getting SD cards, you probably don't need anything more than 32 gigs because... or 64. Probably don't get anything more than 64. You probably don't need it. And if you're using these cameras, you're not going to need more than that because 1080 doesn't really blow it up too much. And just because I put these into two separate categories doesn't mean you can't mix and match. It doesn't mean that you can't use the microphones that I suggested for the bigger ones, the more expensive ones, with the lower budget stuff. And it doesn't mean that you can't use the Canon with the Siren, depending on what you want to invest in. They're all great options, and they're all options that are going to help you create your content and make it a pretty decent quality. And it all takes practice. I could guarantee you that all these things have the potential to create great content. It's now up to you to make it look good and to make it yours and make it unique to you. Because that's what's going to make people want to come and watch your content. It's you. It's not the content necessarily. It's really you. It's a personality. People are drawn to people and personalities. And if you're bland and if you're just not that entertaining, that might be an issue. But some people might like that. It's something you're going to have to get over. It's something that I had to get over. And like I said, I'll leave all those links to my other channels. And I was not very camera savvy. I was very camera shy at the first couple of videos, and I wasn't even on camera. I was just a voice. So that is my YouTube starter kit. Simple, from your phone to a little package of little things that's under $200 to your kind of semi-professional on around $1,000, probably a little less if you do a little research. And this is what you're going to need to start your YouTube journey, and maybe even Twitch, maybe even some other platforms, but basically your content creation journey starts with these things and these tips that I left in this video. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked that video, please hit the like button down below. It means a lot and it helps this channel grow because the YouTube algorithm likes likes, and so do I. So please leave a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this and more videos that will be involved with gear and involved with more in particular gear. If you like microphones and you want more specific like details about some of this gear, I have AT2020, Rode Pod mic, and a ton of other gear that I've talked about in the past. Go check out the video tab and check out those videos. If you have any questions, comments, or anything whatsoever, please leave it down in the comments section down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. And if you have any suggestions for videos as well, leave it down there. You could also ask me more directly while I stream every Saturday afternoon. Twitch.tv/GhettoHappy is the channel. And go give me a follow there and check me out and hang out, chat. You can come in and just say hi for 5 minutes and say, hey, I checked out your videos, I really enjoyed it, or whatever it may be. So until next time, be safe. Be kind. If you go out, please wear a mask. and I will see you in the next video.
Hello everyone, this is Ghetto Happy with a Destiny video. I am starting a new campaign with a hunter. This will be titled The Life and Times of a Hunter. And yeah, I'm just going to play through the campaign. Pretty simple stuff as a new class. I played through as a warlock, but wanted to play through as a hunter and let you guys see it.